Hey everybody, and welcome back to Tom Clancy's Central. My name is Retro, and today we're going to be comparing the two best snipers in this game at the moment, the HTI and the MSR. Now I want to say up front, both of these guns are viable and definitely good to use. I mean, you're definitely not going to go wrong with using either one, but I want to really break down some of the stats. I did all these myself, so they might not be 100% accurate, but I tried to get as close as possible. So starting off, I want to talk about the fire rate and the actual time it takes to shoot these weapons, because the way I tested it, and you guys will see it on the screen at some point, I tested it in the way that me standing still, not aiming down sight, but me simply standing in a spot. How long does it take for me to empty the 5-round clip, just simply standing there and pulling the gun up each time to shoot? Now, of course, if you aim down sight, it might be quicker because you don't have to go through that motion, but I'm just talking about the time to actually pull up your gun. So with the HTI, I got 10.62 seconds, and with the MSR, I got 10.19 seconds. Now, this really isn't a big deal at all. We're literally talking like half a second difference, and of course, when you divide it up, the average time for the HTI is 2.12 seconds, where the average time for the MSR, of course, per shot is 2.03 seconds. So the time is very close, and I know there will be probably some more accurate stats out there. This is just from my experience because I wanted to get my own. I figured they'd be more accurate, so I tried to get my own statistics, and honestly, when you use them, they do feel pretty much the same. Now again, that's not to say that there isn't a difference here. If you want to use the MSR, and I know the fire rate is different when you're aimed down sight, it might even be quicker with the MSR than the HTI. There might be a bigger gap if you're ADS'd, but simply just standing still to pull up your weapon, it does take slightly longer to pull up the HTI than the MSR, which may mean a difference between life and death. I don't know. And if you find the damage trade-off and the vehicle trade-offs, which we'll get into in a little bit, if you find those to be worth it, I would definitely recommend just staying to the MSR. Now, what are those trade-offs, you might ask? Well, when I did a little test on the vehicles, that you guys will see, I take two identical trucks, I call them in, and you see me shooting at them. I shoot at the back license plate, and it takes me 5 bullets with the HTI before I even get to the 6th the car blows up. Now, okay, with that noted, go ahead and look at my MSR little clip, and if you notice, I put 5 bullets in, I reload, I shoot the 6th, and then it blows up right after. So to be honest, I mean, it's very, very similar. Again, the vehicle damage really isn't that different. If you look at their stats, it says there's a difference on the MSR. It has better vehicle penetration. Honestly, I don't notice that. And if you simply look at the way I was shooting here, the HTI actually took it down slightly quicker. So again, it all really depends on how you feel about these guns, which ones you feel more comfortable with, but they both take down vehicles incredibly quickly. In terms of things with higher damage, maybe convoys, it might be a little bit different, I don't really know, but for a standard vehicle, both of these guns will serve you very well. However, the HTI does seem to be slightly better if we were to get technical. Now, the final thing, yet also the most uneventful thing, is actually the damage that you can do to other enemies. Now, to be honest, in most instances where you're relatively close to an enemy, I'm talking relatively close for a sniper, of course, the damage will be roughly the same, honestly. Like, it'll be a one-shot most of the time, and if you'll notice in this clip here, I'm shooting at these guys by the helicopter. I shoot them in the foot with both guns, and they die almost instantly. So, I mean, it's like, you know, man, it's really not that big of a deal if you're within like 100, 150 meters. If you're further, the HTI will have a better damage. I would definitely trust the HTI to get me a one-shot, let's say in someone's ankle from 250 meters away. I would trust the HTI a little bit more than the MSR but to be honest, I mean, they're really, really similar. These guns are said to have major differences, and everyone says that the HTI is slightly better, and while it may have certain benefits, maybe in the vehicle penetration department, or if we're talking about the MSR, it might shoot slightly faster, but to be honest, they're both about the same. You know, it's really an uneventful video, I have to tell you, because both of these guns have very similar stats and they perform very, very similar. So, you know, it really just depends on what you feel more comfortable with. Myself, it depends on the situation. If it's a distance, I prefer the HTI simply because I trust the damage a little bit more, and if it's up close, I prefer the MSR because of that tiny, tiny little fire rate difference. But again, to be honest, they're about the same. So whatever you guys feel more comfortable with, I definitely recommend going with. But it's still pretty much undeniable that these guns are like two of the best snipers in the game. I'd really recommend trying out at least one of them. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you guys did, definitely go ahead and drop a like. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you all so much for the support recently. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. So if you guys are interested, you all know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. My name is Retro, and I'll see you guys later.